On today's show,
John Wall is hyped for tonight's Cavs-Wizards game on TNT, and Bucks guard Chris Middleton is getting close to a return.
we discuss Paul Pierce's final game in Boston, Zach LaVine's season-ending injury, and Simone Biles beside Shaq.
And don't worry, Jameer, we'll do the heavy lifting when it comes to weekend whoopsies.
It's Monday, February 6th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast, joining us live right now on NBA TV or later on YouTube, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Rise down.
Oh, man.
Stolen from our cameraman Todd Crow back there.
Yeah, Falcons fan out there. Sorry, buddy. To Tass's right, it's the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lee must have loved Lady Gaga.
She was great.
As always.
Certainly not least. Over there, it's the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey, yo! TK, what's poppin'?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, I have a very important announcement to make. Dunk season is back!
Oh!
That's right, every year when the calendar turns to February, I go to Tass's, lower the rim to 8 feet.
Oh, watch out for
We're
that
on his
baby.
neighbors by dunking in his driveway for the entire day. Wow.
What was that one?
Yeah, I guess you're just gonna have to wait and see.
Oh.
Honestly, I'm just trying to be my best, but when you're trying to be the best, it comes with a search for inspiration, which brings us to today's question. What are the best big man dunks in dunk contest history? And some that I've been watching a lot lately are Amari Stoudemire's from the 2005 dunk contest. This is the ones he did without Steve Nash because the power and the athleticism, it's pretty impressive for a guy who's 6'10". I miss early Amari. Might try to rip these off come All-Star Weekend if, you know, the committee can find a challenger for me in the dunk contest. I guess we'll have to see. But we want to hear from you out there, so let us know on Twitter. What are the best big man dunks in dunk contest history? Send us your best tweets to hashtag the starters. We'll hear from you later.
I didn't know your net went all the way down to 4 feet.
Oh.
It's pretty crazy. Pretty wild, buddy.
buddy.
just called you
I'm just saying.
small.
I'm just saying. It looked pretty low.
Small Joe.
Yeah, that's because I can jump.
It looked pretty low. Oh, maybe. All right. We had a fun show tonight. Get your tweets in. We have a blast here. We're going to play a little fill in the blank. And of course, we got a new edition of Weekend Whoopsies. But we start with a fun game here on the starters called Would You Believe Me? Trey, you got some crazy facts. And we got to figure out whether we'll believe you or not.
These are some crazy facts. The Washington Wizards are on a season-best 7-game winning streak. Tonight, they host the defending champion Cleveland Cavaliers in D.C. The Cavs have won 4 of 5, and they owned the Wiz during their short-lived rivalry in the mid-2000s. Would you believe me if I told you John Wall said tonight was the biggest regular season game of his career?
Yeah.
His entire career.
What else is he supposed to say? In 2014, the Indiana Pacers were the 1 seed. We were 2.5 games back in March 17th. We played them in a tight game. I mean, of course he's going to say that. He's walking off the floor on Saturday night, post-game interview. Hey, is this game coming up 2 nights from now the biggest regular season game of your career? Of course he's going to say yes. Because literally, I think
It might be.
I
That's
think it
the
is.
weirdest part.
Yeah, the Wizards have made this race for the second best team in the Eastern Conference pretty interesting.
Yeah,
You know, the Raps
yeah.
are there, the Celtics are there, and the Wizards have joined the fray. And yeah, that's who they're trying to knock off. And a couple of years ago, the Washington Wizards could have made their mark as a team that was right behind LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers because they made the second round of the playoffs. Then John Wall got injured in that Atlanta Hawks series. They could have been in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs instead of those Atlanta Hawks. This is the team that they have to knock off. And John Wall is 4-time consecutive All-Star. He's making it seem like this is their spot.
And it is on TNT. It's a nationally televised game.
That was added to the schedule, too.
That's exactly right. They're only 4 games back. You're right. They're battling for the number 2 and 3 seed and all that. But the Wizards are only 4 games back from the number 1 seed. Well, obviously, with the Cavs having struggled as of late. So, yeah, I think it is. They got the huge winning streak in the phone booth there, where we have for many years sort of ripped on fans in Washington because it's sort of been a quiet crowd a lot of the time. They didn't have a big, a great winning record for a home record over the last couple of years. So this is huge. I mean, going for 18 straight against the Cavs, I guess it is. I mean, that's what's sort of sad about Wall's career. He hasn't played in a lot of big games sort of later in the year.
It's also the LeBron
outside
effect.
of the playoffs.
It's also the LeBron effect. I mean, LeBron has owned the Eastern Conference.
Yes, but we also criticise players when they say, oh, it's just one game, we're only taking one game out at a time, one out of 82. Finally, a guy saying, no, this is actually a massive game for a regular season game because it is a barometer of sorts for the Wizards. They've been playing incredible basketball, as you mentioned there, but now they get the Cavs at a good time to play them too because things aren't going too well in Cleveland right now. John Wall wants to put himself in that bracket as perhaps an MVP candidate. He has a real chance to show that this winning streak, not only the 7 games, but their home winning streak, is not just a mirage and that they are a challenger to the Cavs.
Well, Wall says it's the biggest game of his career, though Bradley Beal, Lee, did say it's just another game. So he did throw out the classic
played bigger
NBA
games.
cliche.
Yeah, he's just keeping it real.
Yeah, it's also when you get a guy, right? Like Wall was coming off the
Yeah.
floor. They just won their
For
next
sure.
game, right? Bradley Beal may have been in a shoot-around. It might have been a light day.
Yeah.
It all depends when you get him. But I disagree to say that this is a good time to get the Cavs because the Cavs were smoking the Knicks on ABC on Saturday without Kyrie Irving. I know it's the Knicks. I know. But when they want to turn it on, they turn it on. And tonight on TNT, against a team that's coming to get them, I think they're going to be ready to go.
The last couple of
and
wins that the
Kyrie's
Cavs
there.
have had haven't been against quality opposition. This is a real test to see if the Cavs have gotten rid of those problems that they've been having.
Kyrie versus John Wall. Very excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. Should be a good game. All right, Trey, next one.
All right, way back in September, the Bucks' Chris Middleton tore his hamstring so bad it came off the bone. Reports said he'd be missing the entire season, but during Friday's game against the Nuggets, Middleton himself said he'd been cleared to play later this week. Would you believe me if I told you Chris Middleton will return on Wednesday?
If he didn't say it himself, I don't think I would believe
Yeah.
it. Because, you're right. He was supposed to be out for the season. The hamstring stripped right off the bone. Was supposed to be, I think, initially 6-7 months. And now here he is just after the 4-month mark. But he's confident. He's been practicing. He's coming back. And this is, the Bucks need this. The Bucks are obviously trying to get into the playoffs. And this is a team, I think, that has to get into the playoffs. It would be a very, very bad, disappointing year if they didn't. They're young, and they're getting better, but they should get a little taste there of the postseason with, of course, the Greek Freak and Jabari, and you add a shooter like Middleton in there. This is good news for them, at least.
Things were going very well, and now lately in the last 10 games or so, they've really dropped off. But Middleton, whether or not he comes into the starting lineup straight away is probably a question. He's probably going to come off the bench to get a feel for it again.
That's fine.
But he is an upgrade at what they have. Tony Snell's currently their shooting guard. He'll go into that spot. What I like about Middleton is he doesn't need the ball in his hands either to be effective. He's a good three-point shooter. He knows how to cut to the rim, and he's a good defender. So he's not going to come in and disrupt too much of their chemistry as far as other guys having the ball in their hands, but he knows how to just give them a boost, which is what they desperately need.
This guy is ridiculously under the radar. Yeah, I know we've talked recently about guys like Paul Millsap who kind of fly under the radar in Atlanta. This guy is way under the radar. He was their best player last year.
Yeah,
Giannis
top scorer.
Antetokounmpo was not. Yeah, he was 18 points per game. He's only 25 years of age. You're right. He's not going to disrupt anything, and he's not going to be their best player now with Yanni's rise and Jabari's rise potentially. But this is a spot that they can grab. The Detroit Pistons got Reggie Jackson back, a couple months ago. The Charlotte Hornets made a tiny little trade because they're trying to make their move. And this is like Milwaukee Bucks acquisition here.
Yeah, it is.
They're getting back an incredible shooting guard, a guy who can score a lot. Really, really talented.
And a couple games here before the All-Star break to sort of, like you said, sort of work him in slowly, trying to get him back into game shape. And then maybe after the All-Star break with that 30 or so games, really make your push for the 8th seed or even higher because there's such a congestion
you can jump
of
in.
teams. Yeah, absolutely. All right, final one, Trey.
All right, a bunch of us got together yesterday at Tess's house to watch the Super Bowl, and I'm pretty sure I spotted a wedgie in the most unusual place. Would you believe me if I told you there was a wedgie in a Super Bowl commercial? A basketball wedgie.
No?
I saw it.
I wouldn't believe it.
I screamed it when we saw it during the commercial. Lee, you weren't there, so you have to take our word for it. We have the video here. A wedgie showed up not once, like 3 times in this commercial. There it is.
Well, the question is then, does it count?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because, there's been a few loose wedgies that we've counted.
Yeah, the only problem is we didn't see the wedgie
Live?
stick. Exactly. It's just propped there. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I don't think we can count it.
It's a good, honest wedgie.
But I appreciate everyone on Twitter, of course, watching the Super Bowl. There was a couple people tweeting in, say #wedgie. We should count it and stuff like that. So it's good to know people are out there.
I've got one that we definitely can count.
all right,
From this weekend,
Okay.
we had a beauty of a wedgie. Yes. That nice crash.
In an NBA game.
In an NBA game. Yeah, Malachi Richardson of the Sacramento Kings. Rookie Malachi. This is officially his first wedgie of his career. Number 28 on the year. And a nice one. A nice stick there. A nice, real, honest wedgie. And our projected total for this season, it's a little lower than we want it to be. It's at 48, as you see on the right.
All right.
We're trying to get to 50.
Oh, man.
But still ahead of last
We're in
year's
striking
total.
distance.
We need to have a couple good weeks before the All-Star break here.
Yeah.
All right? We got to get 3 or 4, I think, under our belt.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Let's focus, and we can do this.
All right, we'll also take a break. When we come back, the truth, Paul Pierce says goodbye to Boston. Talk about that and a whole lot more. Welcome back to the starters. Time to play a little fill in the blank. We ask you to play along on Twitter. Fill in the blank. Hashtag the starters. Trey, you got a few questions.
All right, assuming the Clippers and Celtics don't meet in the finals, Paul Pierce played his last game in Boston yesterday, and the Celtics legend left in style, hitting a courtesy three late in the fourth and smooching the center court logo, much to the delight of the Garden faithful. Guys, fill in the blank. Paul Pierce's return to Boston was blank.
I went emotional. It was a little dusty on Sunday. Yeah, I got a little choked up there. I even got some tears there. You can sort of see them coming off the L there.
You're an emotional guy. I
I'm an
understand
emotional
that.
guy. Paul Pierce obviously was touched.
Yeah.
Not only, I think, by starting this game, you got to remember, he hadn't played since December 31st.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce is not playing, really, anymore, but he's in the starting lineup. They give him the huge applause. They got the tribute. And then he hits the fitting three at the end. It was emotional, and it was pretty cool to actually see.
He played for the applause.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Gaga, yeah, nice one. Not that nice, actually.
wasn't
Like
that
I said,
nice.
it was
I
a
didn't try.
fitting farewell because Doc Rivers handled that well. You know, the game was out of reach. The Celtics knew it. The Clippers knew it. The fans wanted him. Just got out there. He hadn't made a basket up until that point. He goes out there. Isaiah Thomas kind of let him just have one.
Absolutely.
And the
backed up.
Celtics fans have seen that a million times. They know whose jersey's going to be raised to the rafters. Maybe next year, who knows when, but pretty soon. Nice way for Paul Pierce to walk off that garden floor.
It was only missing one thing. You mentioned that jersey. I wanted him to be wearing the Celtics jersey. I mean, why not? Really, it's like he was playing for the Celtics out there, was it not?
You're not wrong.
I should have just let him
That would have
sit
looked
up.
weird if he just all of a sudden wore a Celtics.
he's
But
not
it's
wrong.
fitting.
He's
It's
not
fitting.
wrong.
I mean, he really was playing for the Celtics
Yeah.
last night. He wasn't playing for the Los Angeles Clippers. All the things that he said coming into this game, this feels like his goodbye to the game. Unlike Kobe, did an 82 game farewell. He's basically said, "This is like my farewell." He said, "I wish I could have retired in a Boston Celtics jersey. We'll put one on." I don't understand. They should have just thrown it on.
They'll give him that
But it was
one-day
very,
contract.
nice, and it was a nice move by Doc to show that he totally understands Paul Pierce.
For sure. All right, next one, Trey.
Well, there's some bad news in Minnesota as Zach LaVine's career best season has been cut short thanks to a torn ACL in his left knee that he suffered during Friday's game against the Pistons. The team has since announced that he's going to be out for the remainder of the regular season and probably into next year, I'm guessing as well. So fill in the blank. Zach LaVine's ACL injury means blank.
Potential put on pause.
Yeah.
I saw this headline from our good friend Rob Mahoney at SI, and I really liked it because that's what it is with Zach LaVine. And you've talked about it many times here on the show, Tass, about LaVine being much more than a dunker. And he, over 2.5 years as a pro, has become just a better overall basketball player in terms of efficiency and his production. That potential's just put on pause for right now. He's super young. He's going to bounce back from this. It just sort of is unfortunate, and we just have to wait to see him hopefully blossom into a star.
Yeah, he's done his thing in relative obscurity, let's be honest. He's become a very good, very solid shooting guard in this league. On Minnesota Timberwolves team that doesn't get a lot of publicity over the last 2.5 years, as you mentioned, Skeets.
Yeah.
He's played about 200 games in his career, started about 120 of them. I'm not concerned with the playoffs for this team whatsoever. They're 3.5 back. There is potential that they could get there, but there's so many teams in between. I'm just more concerned about the experience that he misses playing with his team. 30 games that he's not going to get this season just playing with his team to get better, because that's all I care about is the growth of this team. Because going into next year, they could legitimately be a playoff team. This year, not so much. But I just think that him as the starting shooting guard, he needs more and more time as that starting shooting guard, because this was the only real year that he started.
Yeah.
Last year he played a lot of PG, but he's really grown into his spot.
He was averaging over 20 points a game for a lot of this season. It's just dropped back a little bit, but he fits the category for most improved player. Like, I know you don't like that award because it tends to go to guys who just play a lot of minutes. Guys like Yanni.
Which he does.
Yeah,
He's third in the league in
But he
minutes
does. But if you look at his growth, he's had that steady growth, and he really had a breakout season for him this year. His numbers, his percentages are around about where they've been for his season, for his career. But he's shooting a lot more, and he's scoring a lot more. So he was
good, and they're good percentages.
Yeah, no, they're good percentages.
Look what he wrote, by the way.
That's
Bad news for the Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That'll do.
Is it wrong?
No.
No, it's not right. What am I creating, baby? All right, Trey, final one.
Well, with all those famous people hanging around, there are bound to be some hilarious meetups at the Super Bowl, and taking the cake this year is Hall of Fame wedgie giver Shaquille O'Neal meeting Olympic gold medal gymnast Simone Biles, looking like the real-life embodiment of Biggie Smalls. Guys, fill in the blank. Simone Biles standing next to Shaq is like... A blank.
I'm glad I didn't pick Biggie Smalls because I thought about that.
What you got,
It's
Lee?
like it's photoshopped. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like it's a real photo because Shaq is such an enormous man, and Simone is just tiny. But they're both two Olympians right there. It's incredible, isn't it?
I went with Simone standing next to Shaq is like Trump shaking hands with Kawhi Leonard. Think about it. You got tiny Trump hands, and you got giant Kawhi Leonard hands. That's my comparison.
Are those his hands?
Those are not Trump's hands. No, that's someone else. I'm not sure. But look at those mitts, man. Well, this is unreal.
Shaq is just another thing that she would jump over. She could jump over him. Did you
You
watch
think?
her on the vault?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she could with the vault easily.
The vault. I think she could just do it. She could just
Floor,
do
like
flip,
floor
forward
exercise,
flip.
floor exercise over Shaq. Yeah, she
Just
probably could.
just a running start.
Let's hope it happens in New Orleans.
Okay.
Make it an
That'd be fun.
all-star event.
All right, guys. After the jump, Celtics big man Kelly, oh no, Olynyk misses the bunny in brand new edition Weekend Whoopsies. TK is hoping to three-peat in this year's Starters Dunk Contest, so he needs a little inspiration. He asked you what are the best big man dunks in NBA Dunk Contest history. You guys hit him up on Twitter, #TheStartersTrey. Got some answers, buddy.
Yeah, some great answers. The most popular one came from the Rain Man, who said the JaVale double dunk for show. That was awesome. Chris went a bit of a different direction, saying the Birdman. What a moment in NBA history. That was a moment. Maybe not the best though, but the most famous dunk came from Bronson, who said Dwight Howard's Superman dunk almost from the free throw.
This was great.
This was awesome. People still are complaining that it's just the thunk, but
that's-
Oh,
still,
come on.
come on. It
It's
looked like a
so-
laser.
Yeah. And he, like, first attempt, too.
Yeah, that was great.
It was solid. All
Good
right,
stuff.
great stuff. Keep the tips coming in there for TK. But we got a brand new edition of Weekend Whoopsies. The NBA was once again very kind to us when it came to the bloops.
It was fantastic. Kenneth Faried can lift Nikola Jokic. Jameer Nelson, not so much.
Live with your legs, not your
He's
feet.
a big
come
guy.
on, yeah.
Well done,
The full
Jameer.
Nelson.
Nets coach Kenny Atkinson is going to get a tee here for showing off some sweet soccer skills. You do not tee up a man.
No.
Skinny tie, soccer skills.
Shout out to F2.
Quincy Acey just loses this. What is F2? Quincy Acey just loses that ball. What is happening here?
Ah,
It's
man. How
unfortunate.
did he brick a layup from there?
He lost it.
Some footy stars.
I get
across
it.
the pond, across the pond. Dwayne Wade's gonna throw down a nice dunk. Nothing about whoopsie about that, but the somersault. Ooh.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, Simone Biles would be impressed.
Oh yeah. Could Wade dunk over Shaq?
James Harden manages to get a foul called on Michael Carter Williams on this play.
He jumps on his back.
MCW fouls out of the game in overtime. He was doing a decent job guarding James Harden, but fouls out.
Wow.
Swaggy P playing the Celtics knocks down the three. Gonna show us a little pew 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 pew.
Then he remembers the.
Not long later, knocks down another one. Gets a little more creative with the celebration here.
Oh, yeah, the gallop.
Larry Nance Jr. loves it. Can't wait for him in the three-point contest. Oh man.
Same game, more of a conventional blooper here. Kelly, oh
Classic!
no. Oh, let me get to throw my ski hat.
Back to the coaches. Fizdale, just gets popped. Lee, have you ever had that happen? to
Oh,
you?
yeah, it happens, yeah.
Yeah, you wear specs.
Does that count as a classic doinker, though?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
A man breaks some ankles, his own.
Oh no.
Tobias Harris. To be fair, he hits Aaron Baines' foot, his teammate. But we're
He still fell.
fallen man funny.
Tensions ran high between the Warriors and Kings over the weekend. Yeah,
Wow.
Steve Kerr
Foul mouth.
gets thrown, and Draymond Green knows it. He's out of here. Yeah, a little dance there. And then Cousins, he's like, well, let's just get rid of everybody. Yeah, you.
Kicking
Yeah,
everybody
all of
out.
them. You. Get them out of here. All of them out. Get them all out.
On Sunday, the Nets hosting the Raptors, and the anthem singer botched the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our true love strong and free.
Oh no.
Oh, Canada, we sing our heart.
We stand on God for thee!
Come on. Come on.
It's easy!
Oh, Canada.
That guy even knows.
Enrico Palazzo.
He's like, oh man.
Oh no. Oh, no. And the Toronto Raptors tweeted her the lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh, that was unfortunate. Kyle Lowry waited for his interview to start, and then he got him.
Kyle getting the triple-double here today, but more importantly,
Thank you, appreciate it.
he was just waiting to do that, I guess, guys.
Poor Eric Smith.
CJ McCollum is going to send Victor Oladipo a tumbling like a tumbleweed in OKC. We saw a tumbleweed once, remember
100%
that?
true.
It's 100% true. We saw a tumbleweed in OKC.
On a main street. NBA legend Bill Walton adores nature.
I love big leaf maples. I love this tree. How do the trees stay alive when it's so cold? Hey, Doug, how you doing, champ? This must have been a big tree in 1897. I am a woodpecker. Come on, bugs, get out of there. I'm hungry. This feels so good.
Come on, Bugs, get out of there. I'm hungry.
A national treasure.
What a legend.
What up, Doug?
How's it going, champ?
All right, when we return, Lily hits us with the very solid play. The art of the triple-double, Russell Westbrook and James Harden seemingly picking up a trip dubs every other night in this league. Quite the year for them. 10-part series premieres tonight on Game Time, NBA.com, NBA TV, and NBA TV social platforms. It's everywhere, baby. In episode 1, the recipe for the triple-double and a history of players who made and make them happen, like Russell Westbrook and Harden. So catch that again on Game Time tonight. Tonight's Pick 'em Play. It's the Cavs and the Wizards. It's on TNT, as we told you earlier. Tass the only one taking Cleveland. Everybody else gonna ride that home winning streak with the Wiz. Congrats, or best of luck to everybody. Lee, sorry, VSP time, baby.
Yeah, we're out to the Fortress for Saturday night's game. Hawks and the Magic. Look at this.
Zippy.
This game, this play literally has everything. Ends with a
Swish
Oh, yes, it does. Again, watch it. There's a little pump fake party. There's bounce passes. The ball's fizzing around.
Wow.
Everyone gets a touch, and it ends where it starts with THJ. Knocks it in. That's what I call a very solid play.
Excellent stuff, Lily.
That's some Hawks basketball right there.
Tomorrow morning, we got the Starters Twitter show. You can join us live on Twitter at 11 a.m. Eastern. We tweet it out. NBA tweets it out. So come join us. We got the top 5 list. Tassis has Say What. We'll get into a possible Sixers-Pelicans trade, which could be on the horizon. So
Juicy.
join us tomorrow morning. Tonight, though, as we said, Cavs and Wizards, followed by the Spurs and Grizzlies. Not bad coverage beginning at 6:30 with Game Time on NBA TV. That's it for us tonight. We will see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. And again, join us for the Twitter show.
All right, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. And remember, sorry, Falcons fans, this one's going to hurt.
That was rough.
There's always next year.
That was rough.
Yeah.
Brace the night, people.
Sports, eh?
Sports, they'll break your heart.